This is my Fuyu persimmon tree, and over the years we've gotten hundreds of persimmons off of these trees. But I'd like to make more trees, and to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these little branches that have buds on them, and I'm going to graft these buds onto an American persimmon rootstock. And we do that because American persimmons are stronger, healthier. That is, they survive disease better, and they put out roots and establish themselves, I think, better than these Fuyu persimmons. And so when you buy them from the nursery, they have really grafted Fuyu persimmons onto American persimmons. Now this is American persimmon. It's a little American persimmon tree, and it has, so we call it rootstock. And what I've done is I've bud grafted some of the Fuyu persimmon buds onto this American persimmon tree. And I've done it with lots of these, and I'm hoping then that this will produce other trees that have Fuyu persimmons. So where do these American persimmon rootstocks come from? Well, I had a Fuyu persimmon and it died off, so I cut it down, and these roots that are growing up are American persimmon rootstocks, because when they came from the nursery, they had been grafted onto these rootstocks, and so anything that comes up from it, from the ground, is going to be American persimmon, so I'll be able to graft onto these little trees. And over here is a Fuyu persimmon tree that I got from the nursery, and you may not be able to see it. Let me see. But yeah, right down there is the American persimmon rootstock, and grafted onto it was a Fuyu persimmon, and that's how it came, bare rooted from the nursery. So I thought I'd do a little demonstration on how I did this. I learned all this on YouTube, not near as good as a lot of people are at doing this, but I took a couple of fig limbs off my fig bush, and I'm going to pretend like I want to take a bud off of one variety of fig and put it on another fig bush, and of course it wouldn't be cut off like this, but that's how I'm going to demonstrate, to take a bud off of one and put it on another so that it will begin to produce the kind of fruit that I want on that other bush. So here's an American persimmon rootstock, and I've done chip bud grafting onto it. And again, once this little guy gets going, once that bud takes to life here, then I'll go ahead again and cut off right here, and anything above that will be Japanese persimmon, and anything below that will be American rootstock, and so that's how it goes. This is a bud right here. And there's the stem of the leaf that I left on so I could handle it better when I'm trying to put it into the place that I want to graft. I can just hold it like that. But this is, when you turn this over, you'll see that there's a green area just underneath the bark. And that green area is called the cambium layer. And when you cut into the tree where you want to plant this bud or graft this bud, you want the cambium layers to line up. And so, just to show you kind of like demonstration, when you cut that part on the tree where you're going to graft that bud, it really needs to fit in there really well so that those cambium layers line up and will be touching. And so the cambium layer on one touches the cambium layer on the other. And then you go ahead and take some paratape and you can tape it down firmly, and then it will hopefully take as a graft, and then you're going. I love these. I love this form of grafting. It seems to be the easiest, and it's more versatile. You can do it at different times of the year, and it's just fun to do. So go to the internet, look up chip bud grafting, and see how that's done. This stump at one time was my most prized Fuyu persimmon tree, and wind tore it up and broke down, etc. I cut off the stump, and then I had all of these rootstock coming up. That's American Persimmon rootstock coming up all over the place, as you can see. What I decided to do was to start grafting from some of my other trees way on, let's see, way on down there, that are Fuyu and itchy persimmons. And so what I'm doing now is I'm bud grafting, chip bud grafting, some of the Fuyu and itchy persimmons into the rootstock that's growing up here. And so I've been hard at work doing that, and anxious to see what happens. Now this is late summer, and I don't know if it's gonna take, but it'll be an interesting experiment to see what happens. I thoroughly enjoyed this process. So this is an American persimmon, and this is the fall. It's October 10th in Spartanburg County in South Carolina, and just wanted to show you what an American persimmon looks like. And this is an American persimmon tree, and these guys can get 30, 40, 50 feet tall, and then the fruit drops onto the ground. And it has 3 or 4 or 5 seeds in it, and these things I think taste pretty good. I've developed quite a taste for these, but I'm wanting Fuyu persimmons for now. These are all the seeds that came out of that bigger American persimmon that I just had in my hand, and it was very sweet and very delicious. The Fuyu persimmons have no seeds, and so that's the difference. Now you know a little bit about American persimmons and Fuyu persimmons.